Hey guys, what is up? It is Dalton here.
And I'm Tyler.
And welcome to Video Game Finds number 75. And as you just saw, the new intro that I personally just created, it was in my video a couple weeks ago with the top 5, nostalgia games. But that is going to be the new video intro, and you're going to see an outro as well for the series now, from now on. And I feel like it was a little more inspirational just based on, the original game, Donkey Kong Country, that I used to grow up with and stuff. That is what inspired me to make that. So, anyways, I hope you guys enjoy that as much as I did making it, and so on and so forth with that. So, there you go, guys. You're going to be seeing that from now on. So, anyways, we got a bunch of stuff here, guys. We went to the flea market again. Found some really nice stuff there, and it was really, really cool to find some retro stuff, which you guys will see a bunch of. And I also got a few eBay things that I forgot to show last video. I had them set aside to be shown, and I forgot completely about them, so you'll see them in this video instead. So, and also we got one thrift store find from this last Monday. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get started. Alright, anyways, first thing here actually, found it a few days ago on the street, about a block away from our house, as a matter of fact. It was pretty funny. Nothing too spectacular. It's one Pokemon card here, and it's a Pelipper level 1 card. Nothing spectacular, but it was free. I found it on the street. That was pretty funny. So a Pokemon card, that was pretty cool. Alright, and then next we have here a couple things that I got in a lot off of eBay. I paid $26 for this lot. It was really, really cool. First thing here is a Nippon America NES joystick, or, they call it a joystick, but it's a NES controller here, aftermarket brand. This is from definitely back in the day, because I have never seen one before. And it also shows that it was from the back in the day, because it came with the original box. It's kind of coming apart, as you can see there. I can't really keep the controller in there too well. I'll figure it out though, so I can display it fairly nicely. But anyways, there's that. And I'm not going to take this all out because it's, pretty well said what it shows on the front of the box. But we got a complete in box NES cleaning kit, official Nintendo one there. Very, very cool. Pretty nice shape. I've already got like 3 or 4 of these, so I'm not going to hang on to that just because I have so many of them complete in box. But this one was never used. So very, very cool. That was awesome. But here's the main reason why I got this lot. This was something I really, really wanted. Have not seen one ever in the wild. And I definitely wanted to pick this up just because, it's a unique piece. And that is the Nintendo NES Z-Bag here, guys. Very, very cool carrying case from back in the day. It's got all those, childlike feeling colors to it. This, for some reason, this reminds me of like Fisher-Price and stuff. I don't know why. It's just got that kind of coloring style to it. But anyways, very, very nice bag. It was a little dirty. I kind of, scrubbed it up as best as I could. And it looks a lot better than it did. So, very, very cool to add to the collection. So, $26 for those 3 things was not a bad deal. Oh, and I did lie. I have seen one of those in the wild before. It was at Games Ahoy, but it was like $30 just for the bag, and I was not going to pay that. So, I finally got my turn and found one on eBay for cheaper. So, that was really cool. Alright, next piece here. Nothing too spectacular, but it was only $3.50 shipped. I picked up a box and, everything else for it, pamphlets and everything, NES dust sleeve and everything, not the cardboard, but the styrofoam block, box and everything for this game at the flea market last time we went, and I finally have a manual for it, so all I need to find is a cartridge, and that is NES Tecmo Super Bowl. Very, very nice manual. It's got a little crease and stuff in the back bottom corner, but not too bad at all. Very, very nice shape manual, very clean, very awesome. So that was cool for $3.50. I could not complain. Alright, and then we've got another eBay lot here. 2 PS2 games and a PS1 game. There was a bidding system going for it, but they also had a buy it now option, which I went with right away. Tyler actually found this for me on eBay, but I'll go ahead and show it. But anyway, he said, dude, you better pick that up at the buy it now price because it'll go way over for if it keeps bidding and stuff. So I put a buy it now, on it right away because this was a really good deal because one of these games goes for that alone. And it was $21 for the 3 of these. So one of these games is like a $20 game alone. So I'll go ahead and show the PS1 game first. The first one here, a very, very mint copy of Nightmare Creatures. Very, very crispy. You guys can see the shine and everything on it. It's very, very nice. The disc looks brand new, and that was really, really cool to see. Then we have 2 PS2 games here, both also in very mint condition, crispy condition. The first one here is Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, first edition. I believe it's the AO version. That one is complete. It is missing the poster, but it's got the map, or the manual, excuse me, I always mess that up. But the disc looks brand new, so very, very nice. And then the other one here I am definitely hanging on to because it's another one I didn't have. I have the second one to it, but now I have the first one, and that is Manhunt. Also very, very crispy shape. You guys can see the gloss shine on that. But that one is also complete, and the disc looks very nice as well. So very, very cool for those three. 21 bucks, I could not complain at all. All right, the next piece here, it was regularly, this came from our local ARC, by the way. I rode my bike there because I had to go to the post office, which is only like 2 blocks away from the thrift store. Anyway, rode my bike there on Monday. I saw this one thing in the glass case. I went around the store, didn't see anything else. But this was in the glass case. It caught my eye. Original price was $29.99, but the colored sticker was orange, and that was the only color that was half off that day. So this ended up being $15 half off, but $15.98 after tax. For some reason, they didn't do the the donation roundup. Usually they do, but 2 cents off. It didn't really matter anyway. But $15.98 for this. But we got a Model 2 Sega Genesis console here. Very nice shape. It's a little scratched up and stuff, but that's common with old consoles. That happens. But it came with one official controller. It's got a rattle in it, but it still works. The up directional button on the D-pad's a little finicky, but not too big a deal. Then we've got an official Sega brand power adapter there, an official Sega branded RF switch. And this was really cool that I thought was awesome, that came with it. And that is a complete in-box copy of NBA Jam. It does have a stupid rental sticker on the front there from our local King Supers from back in the day. But it's not that big a deal. It's on the actual insert, it's not on the case, so that was pretty crappy. But anyways, it is complete. It's not in the greatest shape, but I have a better looking cartridge that I'm going to stick in there. I also have a better looking manual that I'll switch out too. So anyways, this will be my first complete in-box Sega Genesis game that I will hang on to because 1, I need a testing cartridge, and 2, it's cool because it's complete and it's a fun game. So for 16 bucks for that whole Sega Genesis setup, you cannot go bad. That was really, really cool there, so that was awesome. Alright, now on to the flea market stuff. Alright, first round. This was probably our best first round. We usually try to take at least 2 rounds each time we go there. And this was probably our best first round we've had in a while. And Tyler's friend Damon stayed the night with us. He stayed actually like 4 or 5 nights, which was pretty crazy. He made a long haul. Anyway, he wanted to go to the flea market with us because he hadn't been to one before, especially a big outdoor one like we do, that we go to every month and everything. But anyways, we were looking around and stuff. We were looking at this one stall. There was some games and stuff, and like a pile of courts and a couple console stuff, like a PS2 and a GameCube and stuff. A little bit too much out of my league for consoles only and stuff. It was like 25 for a GameCube with like a power cord or something, and like 20 for the PS2 console only. Stuff like that. It was kind of off. It's just a little bit too much for me. What I want to pay, consoles only and stuff like that. So, anyways, we're still looking around. I didn't see anything really. But then Damon holds up this Ziploc bag. He's like, "How about this stuff?" And he pulls up this Ziploc bag, and it had 13 N64 games in it, guys. And I'll go ahead and show these. All right. So the first, a little bit here, I can grab a handful. First one here, we've got 007 GoldenEye. Very nice right off the bat. That was cool. These all work, by the way. They're all cleaned up now, and I made, sure they all work and everything. Tyler helped me test them all, so that was really cool. Next one here is Banjo-Kazooie. Very nice find there. That was cool. This next one here, I do not have a loose cartridge for. I have a complete in-box one, but I like to have both a complete in-box one if I have one and a loose one as well, so I don't have to keep using the boxed one. But that is Banjo-Tooie, which is awesome, guys. This is in very nice shape. I was really happy to see that one in there. That was definitely a good bonus. And then this one I don't have either, and I'm going to hang on to it, and that is Blast Corps. Very cool. This one I don't have either, and that's Madden 2000. So that's cool. Another one to add to the collection. Then this next one I don't have either, and that is Penny Racers. Very cool. It was nice to see a bunch of games I didn't have so I could add to the collection. It was really cool. This one, nice condition as well. Good title. Perfect Dark. Very cool. Already have that one though, so no need for that one. But also have this one I picked up not too long ago. I mean, and that is Star Wars: Shadows of the Empire. This one's seen better days, but it's still, there for the most part, and it still plays great, so that's cool. Then we've got Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2 there. So very, very nice shape on those. I already have both of those, so nothing too spectacular for the collection purposes anyway there, but still pretty cool. And the last 3 here, we've got Wave Race 64. Very cool. WCW Mayhem. Very nice. It's got some rips on it, but whatever. And then WWF Attitude. Very cool. So all 13 of those guys, very nice deal. They wanted $40 for all of them. which is incredible. I don't think they really realized what was in there, because otherwise they would have had a lot more on that than that. But they probably only paid like $5 for that whole bag, so a $40, $35 profit margin for them, that was good. So, but I will not turn down 13 N64 games for $40. That was just incredible. So, also while we're there, Tyler was looking through some of the Xbox and Xbox 360 games, and he stumbled across this one. He decided he wanted me to pick that up as well. So,
it's for the Xbox 360, and that is Marvel vs. Capcom 3: Fate of Two Worlds. Unfortunately, this one does have some cracks on the disc.
In the center.
Yeah. I don't know if you can see it, but...
Yeah, they're like cracks from the center ring from like snapping it in and out of the case. We didn't really notice that when we bought it, which is unfortunate sometimes when you're in such a rush. Plus, this was right after we saw those N64 games. I didn't really have a mindset. But, it wasn't that big a deal. But that was only $2. So, anyway, not the greatest find. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like it might not play. I don't know. I don't have a 360 to test it with, but who knows? It might be fine. I just, I might have to take it to Games Ahoy, have it tested. I'm not sure. I don't know if they'll just look at me weird and say, yeah, this isn't going to play, dude. But, I don't know yet. We'll have to see. Alright, so, next find here. This was a really cool find. We were walking along the aisles, and I saw this on one of the end of the tables, and it caught my eye instantly, so I definitely wanted to go look at it, and I'm glad I picked it up, because it's in very, very nice shape. And that is the jet black Nintendo GameCube in very pristine condition, very, very clean. Hardly need any cleanup, to be honest with you guys. It was really nice. The top circle Nintendo GameCube logo hardly has any wear to it, which tells you it's very nice. Because most of the time kids would lay their not cartridges. Why am I thinking cartridges? Cases. They'd lay the cases of their games on top of there, and it would scratch that up and everything. But that is in really nice shape. But that came with both official brand Nintendo power and AV cables there. Both brand new shape. Like, these have the twisty ties on them still, which means they were hardly used. So that's really cool. And then it came with 2 games. The first one here, I was really excited to see. Finally, a nice change of pace for finding some GameCube stuff. Nintendo 13, I think you caught us with some luck there, pal. It was really cool because you were saying, GameCube stuff's your favorite, and I was watching your stuff most recently, and this stuff kind of just, I think, spawned in your favor, so, and it helped us out, so that was really cool. But this GameCube game is really cool, and that is Custom Robo. It's in a rental Blockbuster case. As you can see, the insert's not fully attached anymore. I'm surprised they even still had it with the game. But that one is 100% complete. It's just missing a precautions. I will definitely put that in a real GameCube case, of course, because that is going into the collection. I have never heard of this game before, but I definitely thought it was a unique one. And it's about a $25 game, which is really, really cool. So that was exciting. And then this one I didn't have either, and that is Lego Star Wars 2, the original trilogy, in crispy shape. I mean, look at that gloss shine. That's very, very nice. That one is complete 100%, and that one does have a precautions manual. So, very, very cool. No controller. They were asking $25 for it, but I talked them down to $20 because I didn't see a controller with it, and they took that. So that was a very cool deal for $20. I could not complain. It's definitely going to upgrade my jet black GameCube just because mine's a little bit more rough shape. Even though that jet black GameCube is the first GameCube I've ever picked up and owned, but I'm just going to switch it out because this is a much nicer GameCube. So very, very cool. Alright, then we went down a little farther, and we stumbled across a couple of PS2 games, or so we thought they were PS2. Tyler found one, and I found one. I'll go ahead and let him show his first, because he found it before I found this one. So he'll go ahead and show that.
That's Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance.
Very nice shape.
That's 100% complete.
And that was really cool to see in the stack. This was a guy that knew what he was doing usually with his video games, but he slipped up on that one, and he also slipped up on this one. I'll go ahead and show it. We have a Crash Bandicoot The Wrath of Cortex, and this is the case, but what was in it was a Crash Bandicoot 1 on PS1, which is really, really cool. The case is a little rough. There's no manual or anything, but I have a couple disc onlys I'm going to get resurfaced and put in here. But this one, the Crash Bandicoot on PS1 needs to be resurfaced.